Are you interested in an exciting career with great benefits? Medley Pharmacy is hiring in Ogden, Utah for call center representatives and pharmacy technicians. Be a part of the fastest growing digital pharmacy in the U.S. that's looking to change the healthcare industry as we know it. Jobs with Medley have great advantages like a 401k, paid time off, gym reimbursements, and even medical, dental, and vision insurance. Candidates of all backgrounds will be considered. For more information, visit medley.com/careers today. That's medley.com/careers. Don't miss Extreme Bull's Last Chance coming to Nephi, Utah, September 30th. See top competitors as they ride the meanest high-flying bulls around. Visit UtestampedeRodeo.com. UtestampedeRodeo.com.
KSL's Unrivaled. The teams you live for. The sports you love. Scott Mitchell and Alex Keary on KSL News Radio.
Hey, everybody. Welcome on in. It's another edition of KSL's Unrivaled. Alex Keary, Scott Mitchell. Thanks for being with us. We are hanging out, yes, another evening right here in the KSL studios, and we are talking all about the things that you want to hear about. Scott Mitchell, to my right as usual. Good.
Everything is amazing, wonderful, happy.
That doesn't
content.
Sound real.
What do you mean it doesn't sound real?
Yes. I want to know if you want to be here. I'm not going to keep going forward.
I feel a lot of pressure when you ask me those questions. How are you doing? How is everything? It's like,
I'm asking you. I'm asking the listener. I want to know if everybody's okay. All right. I just want to know if everybody's all right.
I'll okay. I feel good.
All right, good,
actually.
Good.
No,
that's
it's
awesome.
like my body.
Scott, we got to move on, buddy. We can't. You can't keep staying on stuff like this. All right,
let's move.
I mean, I like you, but we got to get to the 705 cut, and I want to talk a little bit about a famous, well-known NFL quarterback, former NFL quarterback, current NFL analyst, who breaks down Zach Wilson and what type of a quarterback he is. He says he's special. It's the 705 cut. Let's do it.
The Cut at 705. The unquestioned, undeniable, unrivaled. Top sports story of the hour. Here's what made the cut.
The Cut brought to you by Wasatch Medical Clinic. Struggling with ED, sick of pills? Visit wasatchmedicalclinic.com for a free offer. Scott, Tony Romo, who you and I both agree is an amazing NFL analyst.
I actually enjoy listening to him.
I love Tony Romo. I think the reason he gets $1 gajillion breaking down the NFL on the weekends with Jim Nantz is because he is really, really good at what he does. He offers insight that we look for, that we crave as just, regular watchers of the game. At least I'm a regular watcher of the game. Scott has got that same thing where you played in the NFL. You look at things a lot differently than I would, for example, or the average person who's watching a game. But Tony Romo, who's in town for the Utah Open, opened up today, courtesy of our own Sam Farnsworth, who got this video today. It's really an amazing thing because he was asked about Zach Wilson and what his trajectory would be as his career, or it was like, hey, you've seen Zach Wilson a little bit. What do you think about the young kid? Here's what Tony Romo had to say.
I think you guys don't quite know how good this kid is. I think he is super rare. I think you're going to be watching. I think he's like a young Dan Marino. And for people, that are a little bit older who saw Marino when he came out in the 80s, people forget like Marino was the guy in the 80s. And then it morphed into Montana and winning all the Super Bowl stuff. But it was like, how Rodgers has all the talent stuff, right? And Brady's like Montana. And then Elway came on, right? I just think that Zach has rare ability, and that literally I've watched him in his first preseason game and like maybe 4 other plays. But I can see certain things, and he has a couple of special traits that God doesn't give those gifts to very many people. And I think without knowing him, but if he's like what I think he is, a hard worker and cares and loves the sport, the ceiling is crazy high for this kid. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, crazy levels, which is saying a lot.
He said everybody. He went through the history of quarterbacking in the NFL. He's like Roger Staubach. He's like Bob Greasy. He's like Dan Marino.
It was then
John Elway came in there and Montana and
Aaron
Rodgers. He's got all the gifts, and he's got Patrick Mahomes, and
it was basically.
but then there's Tom Brady who wins everything.
It was basically a clown car You open up the clown car and just all these quarterbacks start spilling out, and you go, "Oh no, he's not going to keep saying more names, is he? Oh boy, John Elway. Oh boy, Patrick Mahomes. My heavens, how'd you fit everybody in here? All the comparisons that are there. I don't really see. I didn't know where to start.
Okay, I'll start. I can start with this. Zach Wilson is very good, and he is. He's a good player.
We don't know if he's a good pro player though.
No, but I can tell you right now, he's not Dan Marino. Okay?
Why not?
Because there's no one like Dan Marino. There's no one that plays today that's like Dan Marino. There's no one that played when Dan Marino played that was like Dan Marino. And by the way, there's nobody like Patrick Mahomes today. These are unique talents, and it's kind of tiresome. Like they never say to anyone, well, Patrick Mahomes looks like so and so. John Elway looks like there's John Elway. He looked like John Elway, and that's it. Period. Watching Dan Marino every single day for 4 years was amazing. Was flat out amazing. It was artistry. It was beautiful. Every pass, I kid you not, looked perfect. The decision making, the accuracy, the just all that it was unbelievable, and that was just in practice. And the same thing with Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Patrick Mahomes doing things that nobody else is doing. I have yet to say and see something Zach Wilson does that goes, oh yeah, that is, yeah, I've never seen that before, or that's unusual, or that's out of this world. Does Zach Wilson have the talent and the ability to be a very good quarterback in the NFL? Yes, I believe that. I've always believed that. I'm not. This isn't a knock on Zach Wilson, but and it's not even a knock on Tony Romo. It just seemed like Tony Romo was grasping for every name he could think of. Zach Wilson is a special talent. There's no question, but he's got a long way to go before he's Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Dan Marino, Peyton
John
Manning,
Elway,
Drew Brees.
Threw them all in there, yeah.
So
well, but see, here's the thing. And Sam Farnsworth's going to join us next hour, and I want to ask him about that specifically. Like, do you think he was just trying to ham it up for the not ham it up, but be overly nice about?
Yeah.
But you don't want to miscalculate so badly and go, hey, and Zach Wilson, man, can you really tell? And he even said, well, I have a better eye than most people, and he said, I saw his preseason game, which is not a game.
9 throws.
Which was only 9 throws, and then 4 other plays, Scott. But you always say it takes 5 minutes for you to know if somebody's good. What's wrong with Tony Romo being able to do it? Come on, man.
I don't. Okay, what I think Tony Romo was actually saying is that, like these other players, he's special. There's something special about him. He's not your average, everyday, run-of-the-mill quarterback. Like Sam Darnold, for example. Sam Darnold was a really good quarterback, but there wasn't anything about Sam Darnold you just go, wow, that really just jumps off the page at you. He checks all the, went to USC, he played well at USC, blah, blah, blah. But it's when a guy just does something that's just extraordinary. And Aaron Rodgers has that. Peyton Manning had that. Tom Brady, who I don't think is athletic or anything special in the world, but there's something about Tom Brady that he just figures out how to win, how to be consistently effective at quarterback, understanding what you're trying to do with an offense, and he executes at a high level. But there's Tom Brady's never had an off-platform throw in his life, ever. And
if he's off platform, he is not comfortable.
No, he's falling over is what happens with him. But but it's that something special, and I think that's what Tony Romo was saying is there's kind of an it factor with Zach Wilson. We'll see how it plays out, because one of the best things Dan Marino had around him when he started playing was a lot of good players. Same thing with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes stepped into talent all around him. Zach Wilson does not have that. And that'll be a big difference for Zach Wilson.
Well, I'm interested to see what people think. 57500 is the text number. Is Tony Romo just trying to play nice while he's here in town? Or does he really see something special with Zach Wilson? 57500. We're going to take the break. We'll come back. So much more to go on the program. You don't want to miss any of it here. We've got so many things to get to, Scott. My heavens. Bill Riley's going to join us, voice of the Utes, in just a little while. Stay with us on KSL News Radio.
Hello there, sports fans. Welcome back to KSL's Unrivaled. Scott Mitchell, Alex Curie. You know one of the favorite things I get during a week, Alex?
What is it?
I get either to FaceTime with my my granddaughter,
Okay.
or pictures
Of the granddaughter.
of my granddaughter. And it might be better than kids. like really.
That's like
there's
the
just
clarion
something
call
like
of all
I've
grandparents.
heard it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but it's your grandkid.
But see, it has to be true because
My granddaughter, seriously, is the cutest baby I've ever seen in my life. Amazing. Yeah.
I hope my grandkids are better than my kids. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I love my kids, but
Well, how do you
have that? You have a totally different relationship with your kids than you have with your grandkids.
completely?
So that is from the beginning. As a parent, you're going to have a lot of parts where
You know what else I
it's
have?
a little bit weird. Yeah.
I have really good kids. I really do.
do have good
I don't have. I just have really good kids.
Wow.
They've-
You're lucky.
yeah.
You're one of the lucky ones.
I
I
am.
still am yet to.
I am. I
Jury's
appreciate it.
out on my 6 still.
Yeah, I know. I've been
So
around
I'm
your
still
kids
trying to
too.
figure it out.
It's like,
Listen, you've taken.
actually, I like hanging out with your kids.
My kids are pretty fun to be around.
Yeah.
But I had to take 5 of them to the dentist today.
Oh my goodness!
Today.
Wow.
That was rough.
By yourself?
Yes, by myself. My wife's at work, so we do this little swap situation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Dr. Markham's office. I mean, they had to put up with a lot today.
Would you rather have your kids in the morning, like you do, or in the evening?
No, I know that there are trade-offs to both.
Yeah. Good and bad.
Yeah. I like making breakfast. I'm like a breakfast maker, man. All right, Scott, it's that time of the night where I get to ask you whatever I want. And the Ask Scott Anything segment that is one of my favorites. And so we didn't play that, though, did we? Do we have the no? I'll fire it up here. Here we go.
KSL's Unrivaled. ASA. Ask Scott anything. Insider questions, candid answers. Nothing's off limits. Just don't make it awkward. It's Ask Scott Anything.
Yeah, I mean, one of the kids in the old straitjacket at the dental office.
I would be terrified to have a little kid, and if I was a dentist, to have him bite me, screaming and yelling.
These are pediatric dentists. It's not like my dentist. I took him to. Can you figure these things out? These kids. What do we do with these?
No, I'm saying
they know how to handle
being
it.
a pediatric dentist.
Yeah,
I think
it's
that-
hard.
They put like all the fish and all the little cartoon characters on the ceiling.
Doesn't work.
Works for me, even today. You throw
Scott-
in one of those like cartoon movies, and I'll be fine at the dentist.
So I'm going to ask you anything here. I'm going to throw this one out here. Tim Tebow was cut a couple days ago, as we, of course, found out this week.
Yeah.
And Troy Aikman weighed in on this whole thing. Hall of Fame quarterback Troy Aikman. I grew up watching Troy Aikman. I lived in Dallas during his biggest, runs, of course, through, getting his 3 Super Bowls there with the Cowboys. And here's what he said. He said, albeit a short tenure, don't discount the impact of Tim Tebow helping out Urban Meyer with his locker room culture. And knowing the respect Urban has for Tebow, this release also sends the message to the team that this is a business. And all I could think about was, one, does their locker room culture matter that much in the NFL compared to when Tim Tebow really made an impact with the quote-unquote culture in the locker room, which was in college? I feel like the culture in the locker room, so to speak, in the pros, is not really a thing. Is it a thing?
It's 1,000%.
Oh, it is?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. There's a weird dynamic, though, that goes on. The undercurrent of every locker room is this. If you can help us win, we do not care. So all this talk about Tim Tebow and, he's taking up a roster spot, whatever, if that team thought he could help him out, 100% of the guys would be like, we love Tim Tebow. We're glad to have him here, right? But then there really is, and this is kind of sad to say, but it's true, and it's true in every locker room. It's true today. Locker rooms are racially divided. Like when you go to lunch, people of your same race sit at the lunch table.
Is that
together.
really a thing?
It's really a thing. It really is, but it's not awkward or weird. It's almost just like it just happens. It just totally happens. You don't see.
Was it uncomfortable?
No.
Like, was it like
no? I never. I always sat, wherever
you wanted,
Yeah,
yeah.
of course. And really, for me, I didn't spend a lot of time sitting at lunch because you're so busy, like learning and studying and all that, so you don't really have a lot of time for it. But yeah, that's a real thing. But when you get on the field, it doesn't matter, and it's not something that goes into the locker room. There's not racial tension in the locker room at all. Actually, the locker room is quite funny, but there are good and there are bad cultures in locker rooms, and it doesn't matter if it's the star players, and it's usually not the star players that kind of rule the roost of the locker room per se. It's usually someone with a big personality that kind of does that. Like when I was with the Miami Dolphins, amazing locker room. It was just fun, and I would say of all the places I played, the players really got along quite well. The Baltimore Ravens, an amazing locker room, but those guys were never serious.
Oh,
like
so
they
it
were
was
just
horsing around.
They were really lighthearted, and this defense was so amazing. But when they got on the field, it all changed.
They were insane people.
It all changed. So
yeah, because Tony Siragusa in a locker room, that would have been hilarious.
Like my all-time favorite guy in the world.
Oh, really?
Oh my goodness,
Did you hang out with Tony Siragusa when you were on the Ravens?
Absolutely did.
I would have,
and he was just every 5 seconds. It was just something
Did Tony
new.
Siragusa have to make weight?
Yeah, whatever.
That's what I'm asking. Like the guy.
So
was
he goes, I will.
65.
He goes, I will weigh 350 pounds. So you have the weight, and he's like, just watch, I'll weigh 350 pounds. He gets up on the scale, and there's a towel rack right next to the scale, and he has his hand on the towel rack, and so he's adjusting and modifying. Boom, 350, and he doesn't wait. Boy, that thing says 350. He's off the scale. And the weigh-in guy, who's the weight coach, rolls his eyes and just writes 350.
Well, okay, so the locker room,
he was over 400 pounds.
But the locker room culture thing to me is kind of interesting because it says Tim Tebow. The part where Troy Aikman says, "Oh, Tim Tebow, don't underestimate the the effect he would have had on the quote unquote locker room culture." I feel like you got to be there for more than 10 minutes to make an impact. I don't think that this. I feel like not being there for very long is not going to. Players are not going to respect you if they know you're not going to make the team.
I think Urban Meyer did all of this intentionally.
You think it was
I think
farce?
1,000% it was. So the second part of Troy Aikman's tweet about Urban Meyer saying this is a business, right? And I don't care.
I cut my best friend today.
Well, he's a player. Deals. No, they have a relationship, and Tim Tebow won him a national championship, and Tim Tebow's a big part of the success Urban Meyer's had. I mean, and Urban Meyer didn't discount that. He's like, yeah, I'll give you a shot. The odds are probably against you, but I'll give you a shot. And this was a way for Urban Meyer to set a standard. And I get, look, I'll just tell you right now, Urban Meyer is 100% all about business, no question about it. And if he didn't think Tim Tebow couldn't help him win, he would get rid of him. But it doesn't really hurt Jacksonville. It doesn't hurt Urban Meyer. It doesn't hurt anybody to have Tim Tebow around for a minute. I mean, he was out in the first cut. I mean, that's like guys that are not good at all. I mean, you have to be really you have to be you don't really
Tim
belong
Tebow and
here.
I would have made the same cut. We would have made the same cut that day. We'd have been on that first
if you want to think that and you keep
no, that's how I'm going to do it. That's how I'm going to tell my mom.
I think you're right, Alex. Okay. You would be in the same cut as Tim.
No, Tim Tebow and I, Scott said it. We were basically the same player. Now, listen, I wasn't a good quarterback, but I was just as good of a tight end as Tim Tebow.
You might have been as good a quarterback.
I just think it's why does Troy Aikman have to weigh in on the cutting of a guy that nobody even it was not even close to making a roster? It's just funny to me. I think it's interesting.
The thing that's interesting to me is how many opportunities Tim Tebow has had in all of these different sports. He's not this great athlete. He's not Deion Sanders.
I think he's a great athlete.
He was a good athlete. Who's a great athlete? Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill's a great athlete.
Didn't win the Heisman Trophy, though.
Yeah, but he didn't throw the ball very well.
Tim Tebow and I, Mom, were mediocre athletes. We both could have won the Heisman Trophy if I would have had a shot.
And you both could have made the first cut.
That's right. I would have been cut the same day.
Time.
Alphabetical order, I would have technically been cut first, I guess, but it's fine. All right. We'll come back. We've got more to go on the program. Hey, Bill Riley, voice of the Utes, going to join us next. We're going to get an update from Utah Fall Camp, scrimmages, all those things that went on. You can find it all out next right here on KSL's Unrivaled.
KSL's Unrivaled. The teams you live for. The sports you love. Scott Mitchell and Alex Keary on KSL News Radio.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It is KSL's Unrivaled. Alex Keary, Scott Mitchell. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for being a part of the program. We're just going to jump right in here. Joining us right now on the show, he is the voice of the Utah Utes and, of course, also of Real Salt Lake. He is Bill Riley joining us on the program. Bill, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for carving out some time here for us, buddy.
Don't bring up that Salt Lake thing, Real Salt Lake thing to Scott. It gets him really angry.
Scott recognizes every once in a while.
I was muted. I didn't hear what he said.
Every once in a while, yeah. Every once in a while, Scott, like last night during all that bad rain, he goes, "Yeah, but you know what? Soccer goes on in all this, you know." And I said, "Yes, they do. They're tough." So as we speaking of tough, I thought that we had this whole quarterback battle all figured out. We were already kind of penciling in Charlie Brewer, it felt like to me. After spring, everybody felt really good about it. We hadn't even seen Cameron Rising. Maybe that was part of it. It was because we didn't see Cam Rising in the spring, and he was still rehabbing and getting right. And then the fall hits, and all the storylines now are, it's not as nearly clear-cut as we thought. What do we know so far now about this two-horse quarterback race up at the University of Utah?
Well, as of yesterday, when I was talking to some folks after practice, they told me that it's as close as it's been. And Cam Rising is not letting go of this competition. Charlie Brewer's been terrific, but Rising, I think what you said, Alex, is right. I mean, I think we all just assumed it was going to be a real uphill battle coming off that shoulder surgery to be able to compete with a guy that had all the spring reps, all the summer reps, and has a world of experience. But everything I've been told by people that are around the program that watch practice every day is this is not a smokescreen. This is a dead heat competition right now. And it may take those proverbial live bullets in the scrimmage on Saturday to be able to figure out who the guy's going to be.
I've really liked Charlie Brewer's game, and I really have, and I was excited about the potential of him playing. And if Cam Rising is playing better than what Charlie Brewer was, that's exciting to me. This to me, I guess, is something I'm not overly concerned. I'm actually quite optimistic. So it'll be fun to watch this unfold and see who gets to play. What I'm curious about, clearly the stadium expansion has been amazing. There weren't any fans in the stands a year ago. There's supposed to be stands in the fans right now. Is there any potential that could actually change?
I don't think so.
Everything I've talked to with Mark.
Yeah, everything Mark Harlan and people at the university have told me is it's full steam ahead. So I haven't seen anywhere I haven't seen anywhere in the country where they're not letting fans in. They've gone to, show us your vaccine papers maybe to get in. You've got to be fully vaccinated, and maybe there's a chance that some places wear a mask, but I haven't heard anything like that here in Salt Lake.
One of the things that we've been watching closely here is kind of, there's been some positions where we're like, all right, they've added some guys in the offseason. They've added a couple of players here and there that have a lot of good pedigree in terms of the schools that they came from, and that they didn't have, they didn't get the result they wanted there, so they're coming over to Utah. Theo Howard's one of those guys at the wideout position that I think interests a lot of people. Guys like him, the running back room, of course, too, has been added upon because of the transfers. What kind of an impact are we going to see from the transfers in these other skill positions as well? I mean, obviously, you've got Charlie Brewer at the quarterback spot that could be in there as well. But this is going to be a lot of guys out of the transfer portal making an impact for the Utes this year.
Well, I mean, just about the entire running back room that gets on the field, with the exception of Mekhi Bernard, are transfers into the program. So they're going to have a big impact there. I kind of feel like we'll see by committee for the first game or two until maybe it sorts itself out. You mentioned Theo Howard. I talk to Britton Covey every week on my show, and Britton's just been amazed at how quickly Theo's come in, absorbed the offense, says he's a terrific route runner, and has done really good things. I'd be really surprised right now, guys, if Theo Howard isn't one of the top 3 wide receivers for Utah this year. And then, of course, transfers other places, probably safety would be the other place I would look at. They brought in Brandon McKinney from the University of Washington, who played in some close to 40 games in his career. Spot starter, wasn't an everyday guy, but started a bunch of games, including the Rose Bowl a couple of years ago. So, he's another guy that's going to compete for maybe some starting reps as well. But wide receiver, running back for sure, and obviously, as you mentioned, quarterback's a real possibility too.
We've talked about a lot of these positions. I mean, the transfer portal and what it's done to certain position groups. But I just feel like we haven't really talked about Britton Covey. You brought him up here just a minute ago. And where is he? Because is he actually really healthy? And have you got a sense for maybe what kind of camp he's had? Is he full go? Has he been limited in some of the things he can do? Where's Britton Covey?
Britton told me, Scott, he's the healthiest he's been since before he got to Utah as a freshman. He said his body's never felt better. He's, and Kyle's done a good job with some of the veterans like Britton, Devin Lloyd, Mika Tafua, guys who who they are. They haven't gotten, they've kind of rested those guys a little bit at key spots during camp. And Britton's one of those guys. But he told me yesterday when I did my weekly sit-down with him, he feels the best he's felt since before he started playing college football.
Bill, one of the things that obviously today, if you follow Bill on Twitter, or if you follow maybe Greg Wrubell on Twitter, we have a lot of BYU listeners, of course. There was a sit-down meeting of the minds of all the voices of Utah State, Weber State. You've got Bill, of course, and Greg Wrubell kind of rounding it out here. They all met for it almost looks like it's a villain group. Scotty G with the Utah State gear on. You got you and Greg there sporting BYU and Utah, all friendly. Steve Klauke trying to stay neutral with the Bees gear on. Rate the voices of the local schools here 4 through 1. Go ahead. I'll let you start.
Well, clearly Steve Klauke, who's done it the longest, though not the voice of Weber State the longest, would be number one.
Yep.
And did you say they looked like a supervillain group? Was it because those three of those four guys were bald? And they looked like
the one
who wasn't bald?
The one guy with the full head of hair chatting with us tonight. That's very good.
That's the best one there.
That's it right there. It was a very Dr. Evil look, minus Bill there. So, but that's a real fun thing too. You guys actually. There's a fraternity there of you guys when you're calling games and you're hitting the road all season long of just like sharing in the difficulties of your jobs in traveling all season long.
Well, it was just fun because those guys are all friends of mine, and I've known all those guys for 20 years since I moved here. I worked with Greg when I came at KSL, sure. But we had to do the breakfast now. We hadn't been able to do it in a couple of years because of COVID, so we went over to the Park Cafe. But if we don't do it now, when do we do it? Because Greg's got all his BYU duties. I got my Utah and Real duties. Klauke's doing the B. We found a morning where we could all get together, but if we don't do it now, we won't see each other till next year sometime.
Yeah, Scotty G's a slouch. He doesn't have to do all that other stuff that surrounds it. He just has to worry about football, so it's not that big of a deal. Not a problem.
So is there a player this year for Utah that if they were lost to injury for any significant time, that would be a serious blow to this football team?
Well, I think it would probably – the guy that I would probably pick would be – well, there's two guys. I think, on offense, I would go with Nick Ford, the center, because he's kind of the leader of that offensive line and the most experienced and versatile guy. And I think on defense, it would be Devin Lloyd. Utah's got a stacked linebacker room now. They've really done a good job restacking it. But Devin Lloyd's a first-team All-American, guys. Athletic, ESPN.com, preseason All-Pac-12. This guy is legit, and he's the best player on a really good defense. So I think if they lost Devin Lloyd, as good as their backups are, that would be a huge blow to that team. And I think the same thing with Nick Ford on that offensive line. Would you agree, Scott?
Yeah, I felt like the offensive line really turned a corner when Nick Ford moved into center. It just seemed to solidify things, and I don't know if it was getting other players with some talent on the field at other positions, but one of the bright spots a year ago was that offensive line, and it's hard to replace that experience up front like that. And he was, he's a big part of this the bit of success Utah had last year.
He's Bill Riley, easily one of the top 4 voices of the best schools in the program in the state this year. Voice of the Ute. You can hear him on ESPN 700 every day as well. So, Bill, thanks for hanging out, man. Thanks for taking some time this evening.
Talk to you next week, guys.
All righty. There's Bill Riley. We'll take the break here. Hey, MVPs are next. We're going to roll out some fake awards for real people. Stay right here with us.
Scott and Alex crown tonight's most valuable player, the unrivaled MVP.
Hello there, folks. Welcome back. It is KSL's Unrivaled. Scott Mitchell, Alex Curie. Listen, if you tune into our program and you don't catch all of it, do not fear, do not worry. You can download the KSL Sports app, and you can get our show, and you can get it anytime, anyway, anyhow you want. And listen, you don't miss a beat. We understand that you're not in your car for 2 hours. I mean, I know people, Alex, that actually get in their car, drive around for 2 hours just so they can listen to our program.
Well, that's very nice.
It's not necessary, but we appreciate it, and you're more than happy to do that.
Yes.
But you can also get the KSL Sports app as well.
I was going to say, speaking of those who are driving around listening, and did you I was driving around today, and I was cold in my car.
Yeah.
And then I see the reports. Alex Cabrera on KSL 5 Television did this report from Mirror Lake. He's making snowballs.
Really?
And I'm like, what a wild.
Yeah.
And I'm driving today going, now I thought that this rain would not make it as smoky. For some reason.
Right.
I mean, this is why these are wild times.
It's strange, and the violence of the storm. When it's shifted from 100 degrees to like 60 or 50.
Yeah.
And those masses of air colliding, and just the.
You sound like Kevin Eubank right now. You said
thunder,
masses of air. I felt the chill right there, the literal chill, man.
But if you watched how the smoke actually snuck in behind all of it and got trapped, and so the air mass moving back around the backside.
If you could see Scott right now, he's actually pointing at a fake map.
Yes.
And he's like standing up and he's moving around and he's got the laser pointer.
If I was going to be on TV,
meteorologist.
I'd love that.
By far.
Yeah.
And we have like the best in the
I
building.
don't want to do sports.
We have the best in our building. We have the best in the market, maybe in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, so like Kevin Eubank is like the guy. He'll come in and he'll explain all those things to you.
Today felt to me like I was in Oregon.
Yeah, except for
that
in Oregon,
dampness, that kind of overcast.
Same thing. I grew up. This was what football season is all year long in Seattle.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my sophomore, junior, senior years in high school playing football like this. Only no smoke. It's just haze.
See, it's 18 weeks till Christmas.
Oh,
yeah.
Why are you so specific about that? Like, how do you know already? Wow,
I just know that.
18 weeks till Christmas.
I know a lot of things, Alex.
How many days till Utah kicks off?
We are actually 2 weeks.
2 weeks from tonight.
From tonight.
Yeah.
I knew that one too.
Yeah. Boy, what am I going to do on that Thursday night?
16 days to BYU. Figured that one.
No, so the question is, how are you going to sneak in doing our show that night while you're doing the game?
Just in between plays.
Oh, nice. That's very nice of you.
I'll let you talk. Usually you don't say much, and so I'll let you talk.
That is a slight at me.
That night.
I'm not appreciative of that. Hey, MVPs. Let me do this.
I'm so excited about my MVP. I don't even know why, but I'm just excited.
Let's roll it out then. Let's see what's going on here. Give me your MVP. Give me your MVP, Scott. Tell me who you got. Tell me why you liked it.
All right. Brock Holt, who is a utility player for the Texas Rangers, second baseman, shortstop, actually plays in the outfield. They are losing to the Oakland Athletics 12-3 in the bottom of the eighth. And they bring him in to pitch. So he's not a pitcher he's a
utility infielder.
He's a utility infielder. And he sets a major league record for the slowest pitch ever recorded in the era of recorded pitches. Which is really a fun thing. One of my favorite things to go to Major League Baseball is watching how fast the pitches are.
Don't you love going? Like,
I love that.
If you go to the Bees game,
that was 98.
If you go to the Bees game, my favorite is like still the scouts will roll up, and they have the little radar gun.
They got the gun.
Yeah. I love the radar gun, and you're like trying to sneak a peek behind them.
Yeah.
What do we? What'd you have there? 87. He doesn't have the stuff to pitch in the bigs.
31 miles an hour.
Not bad. I could beat that. And I could probably go 27.
And so he pitches the whole inning like this. These pitches are like literally lobs, and they're hilarious to watch.
It looks like your old man league like softball pitches.
Yes, and it's an ephus pitch.
It's called an ephus?
It's called an ephus pitch.
Why is it called an ephus?
I have no idea.
Oh,
That's
it's
just
probably some cuss word.
It's the official name of it. But you watch these hitters, and they want so badly to hit it, but they also are embarrassed and like, this is so degrading and humiliating. And so then he fires a smoking fastball in there going 68 miles an hour. So he goes from 31 to 68 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Anyways, he pitches himself out of the inning. Like he gets a slow ground ball back to the mound. He gets a couple of flyouts, and he is just like jazzed. This guy's like, yeah, I got us out of the inning. And it's one of those things where he's kind of just in there to stop the bleeding. They're trying to save pitchers and arms, and so they're basically surrendering and giving up the game. And he goes in, throws the slowest pitch ever recorded in Major League Baseball. And I personally would love that record. I would love that. I would love to hold a record like that.
Wait, what happened in the inning though? Did he no-hit those guys?
Yeah, he got out 1, 2, 3.
Guess what? I'd walk around the bullpen and go, "What's your ERA?" Mine's 0. What have you guys done? What have you done for me lately? I pitch 60 miles an hour slower than you guys, and my ERA 0.
Well, his ERA is actually like 13.
Oh, because he actually had some other.
He's been in before.
Oh, okay,
this didn't work so well.
This actually, so it was 26.
Well, he was throwing high. He was through like 41.
No one needs that. Yeah, the 30-one's going to be the one that'll.
But he's perfected the ephus pitch.
Yeah, the ephus. You know when it came up? They started using that term back in 1942.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything that's below about 50 miles
limit?
an hour. Yeah, anything that's below about 50 miles an hour, they call it the ephus.
Yeah.
They didn't say why. It doesn't say what it stands for or anything. EEPHUS. Look it up. Ephus. Scott. Well, now hold on a minute, because do you think that but that's your MVP for throwing a slow pitch?
He set a record today.
Yeah, he set a record.
It's
That's
an unusual record, but he's in the record books.
All right. So after it was all said and done last night, I told you about Shohei Ohtani hitting that 40th home run.
Yes.
We didn't get to finish because we saw him kind of. He was like mid outing. He was like in the 6th inning when we were watching him. Ends up pitching eight innings. Okay, struck out 8, hit his 40th home run in the same game. They win 3-1. He is 8-1 on the season with a 2.27 ERA. Not bad. This guy, Scott, I thought that we were just.
And he's had 40. He's a pitcher. He had 40 home runs already.
I want you to picture last year, or last 2 years, really. Some bonehead, coach out of Los Angeles goes, "We're going to either make him a pitcher or we're going to make him a hitter. You could never do two things."
Yeah.
And then here we are. Here we are now. He's hit his 40th home run. We are in mid-August. And he's hit his 40th home run already. And he is in contention for that Cy Young Award in the American League. He could win the home run title and the Cy Young Award in the same year. And we're in 2021. That sounds like something out of 1921. You know what I mean? Like, that's when Babe Ruth was out, 4 days in a row pitching complete games and winning those games, and then also hitting 3 home runs in those 3 or 4 games. So, I mean, I am just blown away by what Shohei Ohtani's doing. And I wonder, and I wonder if he doesn't get the credit because he's not American. If he was American, we'd be tripping over ourselves, Scott, to be talking about how amazing this guy is. Everybody knows how amazing he is, but he doesn't get nearly the credit. And part of it is he's been criticized for not for doing his interviews with a translator. The same way that Ichiro did when he came into the league in 2001, and I think that it doesn't matter one whit. Who cares? The guy is the greatest baseball player of the year by far. The National League is like, thank heavens we give away league MVPs, because for the entire Major League Baseball, obviously it's Shohei Ohtani. And if you were to give away one MVP over the last 10 years, it would over the last 30, it'd have to go to Shohei Ohtani.
See, I love that he is kind of putting baseball on its ear. He's just saying this is possible in this time and day. I think he just makes people really uncomfortable. I mean, I look at Brock Holt, and he's like, no one thought anyone could throw a pitch that slow, and he's proved.
And here we are.
He proved that today.
How dare you? How dare you try to bring up Brock Holt again like he's some sort of a comparison to Shohei Ohtani? Okay, We'll come back. Hey, all you BYU fans out there, I hope I didn't lose you. You know why? Because we've got Mitch Harper, our BYU insider, coming in. Give you an update on BYU's camp. Stay right here with us on KSL's Unrivaled after news, traffic, and weather.
KSL's Unrivaled. The teams you live for. The sports you love. Scott Mitchell and Alex Keary on KSL News Radio.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It's KSL's Unrivaled. Alex Keary, Scott Mitchell. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. If you've missed any of the show so far, you're only halfway through. You can catch this hour. If you missed the last hour, you could hear Bill Riley breaking down the Utes so far in camp. That quarterback battle, not as easy does it as everybody thought for Charlie Brewer. Cam Rising playing spectacular football, apparently, enough to make that quarterback battle basically a dead heat, according to some. So joining us right now about the original quarterback, getting their nose into everything because they can't go a day without more attention. He is our BYU insider. He is Mitch Harper joining us on the program. Mitch, what's going on, man?
Hey, not much, guys. Always happy to talk about a quarterback battle. It's a good one for BYU.
Well, and so Aaron Roderick today, speaking in secretive yet just giving a couple of crumbs here and there, saying that there is quote-unquote separation over the last couple days of these quarterbacks, not saying what that order might look like, but he said that he revealed that order to the quarterbacks. If you were to pick that order today, who would you have said he would have made his order of those three quarterbacks, Mitch?
Yeah, I think the order is Jaron Hall, number 1, number 2, Jacob Conover, and number 3, Baylor Romney.
Whoa!
I think that's the order, and I think honestly, I think it's a situation too where number 2 could come with a catch where in game, kind of like a Taysom Hill situation, where in game if Jaron Hall goes down, maybe you go to the poised veteran in Baylor Romney in game. But if you then have a week to prepare, I think you hand the keys to Jacob Conover, because when you're talking about a guy that gives you flashes, gives you moments that reminds you of Zach Wilson, you don't just let that sit if you have to turn to the second quarterback potentially. And as we've seen with Jaron Hall, through 2 starts of his career, he hasn't finished a single game yet. So that is a concern for Jaron if he starts. I think you go with him, but I think you then turn to the future. Jacob Conover is the number 2.
So, from what I understand, these quarterbacks have been informed of this, and now they have a few practices in a scrimmage. Do you think, one, is that a good idea, and is there a realistic chance that things are going to change in the next few days because of that?
I feel like Jaron Hall is the guy that's solidified himself to me as number 1. I think maybe that battle really is number 2 right now, because I just feel like Jaron Hall has done enough in his career to earn the chance to start. And I think that what he did in his 2 starts back in 2019, I think coaches want to really see what that looks like over the course of a full 4 quarters, or for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, in a whole season, if he can stay healthy for the entire thing. I just feel like, because if you started Jacob Conover, even if you started Baylor Romney, Jaron Hall's the type of guy that most likely out of the 3, he hits the portal and he's gone, because you don't invest in going to work with John Beck. You don't sacrifice a baseball career, because Mike Littlewood, the baseball coach at BYU, told me, Jaron Hall could be an MLB player if he was full-time committed to baseball. You don't sacrifice that, and you don't commit to being with John Beck to say, I'm going to be the second quarterback. Like, he would be the guy out of all of them that I think if he wasn't the starter, he's in the portal. And you can't risk that for BYU, because he was dynamite in those 2 starts that he did have. So I feel like he's number 1. It's really the battle to me is, what direction do you go at number 2? And to me, that's Jacob Conover.
As we start to look at a little bit of what these other groups that aren't quarterbacks are going to provide, obviously lots of experience in the running back room. In the wide receiver group, not seeing a lot right now yet on the Nakua brothers. They're still tempering the kind of work that they're going to be doing. And so what's that wide receiver core look like? Whoever the quarterback is going to be, are they going to have an extremely good and a deep group of wide receivers and tight ends?
Yes, they are. To put it simple, Alex, it's going to be a deep group. It's the best wide receiver room BYU's had since they've been an independent over the last 10 years. And I think it starts off with Gunnar Romney. And I caught up with him today, and he told me an interesting note that he is viewing this year as his senior year. He's not looking at it as his junior COVID year, as BYU has it classified on their roster. This is it for him. This is his swan song. He wants to go out with a bang and put the best foot to be in the NFL next season, like, one of the guys that he looked up to in Dax Milne. So it starts off with him. I think Neil Powell, he's solid. I think he's going to be better than what he did last season. But I don't know how much more of a ceiling there is with Neil Powell. He's good. I don't know if he's elite by any means. So he's going to be your number 2. And then Puka Nacua and Samson Nacua enters the equation. And Fesi Sitake said earlier today that they're going to be ready to go for game 1. I think it's just a situation where they want to make sure health-wise, any sort of nicks and bruises that they're dealing with, they do not want to aggravate those guys, because I think they also know what they've done. There's enough film on them at the collegiate level that they have a lot of knowledge. Like, these guys, they're going to be ready. They know the playbook. They're going to be huge value adds to what this offense does. And then after that, you got guys like Chris Jackson. Keanu Hill has made significant strides the past week. He's the nephew to former Dallas Cowboy and Texas Longhorn great Roy Williams. And then Braden Cosper, a good friend of Zach Wilson back in the day. And he's been making a lot of strides as well. So I think that's kind of your top 6 or so guys, 7 guys. There's a lot of depth. And I think Fesi Sitake loves the options that these quarterbacks will have to throw to. And then you got the tight ends with Isaac Rex and Dallin Holker. It's a good situation for whichever quarterback's going to step into that job.
I believe you wrote an article on KSLSports.com about the 3 toughest game stretches for BYU this year. I believe it was Arizona, Utah, Arizona State. What is a respectable record after those games, and how important, considering that Utah and Arizona State are going to be the tougher games, how important is it to get out and win that first game against Arizona?
Yeah, it's critical. And BYU, there's only one other game since they've been an independent where they faced a Power 5 team and were a sizable favorite. That was against Washington State, another season opener, and BYU blew out Washington State in Mike Leach's debut. So I think BYU is going to handle business against Arizona. That Utah-Arizona State game, you can't afford to go over. You got to get at least a split. And those to me are the 2 best teams BYU is going to face this season. Honestly, USC to me is the 3rd best team in the Pac-12. So I think Utah and ASU are the most talented teams. So if BYU can get a split in those 2 games and set themselves up at 2-1, I think then the table is there, the schedule is there for them to win 9 games potentially on the high end. I think that's reasonable, because if you can take down the Utes and Sun Devils, one of them, I think there's everyone else on that schedule you could beat. So I think that is, to me, it's a schedule that sets up quite well. But yes, like any other year for BYU, they got to hit the ground running, and they got to make sure that any questions that they have within their program right now, they got to make sure it's answered here shortly, because that toughest 3-game stretch is coming in week 1 and 3.
Mitch Harper, BYU insider for KSLSports.com. Real quick, Mitch, before we get out, I want to ask about the NFL possibilities for some of these guys out of this deep draft class for BYU. I saw Dax Milne, of course, getting a lot of pub last weekend, and then I know Kyrus Tonga was one of those guys that we looked at and went, yeah, he's going to be really good. But as a 7th-round guy, already to be listed with the ones with that Bears defense is insane so far.
Yeah, it really is. And he's taken advantage of some opportunities of some guys in the Bears training camp, either dealing with COVID or injuries, and he's made the most of his opportunity. That's all you can ask for. So, yeah, that was a huge surprise to see Kyrus Tonga there on that first unit. And, yeah, I think, honestly, too, guys, like the successes that you're seeing from Zach Wilson, Dax Milne, Kyrus Tonga, even Zane Anderson running with the ones today at Chiefs camp, I think it says, like, okay, you can discredit last year's schedule, but that team was really good last year based on all the NFL talent that they had on that roster. So it's going to be a tough act to follow in 2021, but that team last year should be respected as one of the greats in BYU history.
Speaking of tough acts to follow, Mitch Harper. Sam Farnsworth's got a tall order trying to come after you, man. He's trying to figure this thing out, trying to figure out how he's going to sound like he knows what he's talking about after Mitch is on there. Host of Cougar Sports Saturday, thanks for being with us, Mitch. We'll talk to you again, man.
Hey, no problem, guys. Take care.
All right. We're going to take the break here. Like I said, Sam Farnsworth next. Stay right here with us. KSL's Unrivaled continues.
All right, folks, welcome back. It is KSL's Unrivaled. Scott Mitchell and Alex Geary, and of course, joining us from KSL TV, Sam Farnsworth. Welcome to the program, Sam.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I got a question for you guys.
Oh, boy.
I know. That's what I say every night. Oh, boy. If you could be a superhero, what would be your favorite superhero? Or what was your favorite superhero? Or is? Because maybe, I mean...
You don't ask.
Well, now
are you
you might
asking about the
sleep in your-
traditional? What are you asking?
Superhero. I don't care what it
Superhero,
is.
or are you saying what superpower would I want to have?
Well, that would be the superhero. So whatever the superhero possessed.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't actually like Superman growing up when I was a kid. I mean, I liked Christopher Reeve, and I loved him. But I always thought it was weird. I was like, why does he have to have that weird curl? And he's wearing those pajamas and a cape. A cape seemed even weird back then. Superhero, though, I'm gonna go. I'll go new school with the kids. Deadpool needs to clean up his language a little bit, but you know, I think that he's learned a few things about trying to do the right thing.
So growing up for me, the only superhero I really ever watched, I saw the old Christopher Reeves Superman movies, right? And that's really it for me. I saw some Batman, old Batman.
Is Batman really
like
a superhero, though? I mean,
I don't know. He's
The
just
Batmans we grew up with were so bad.
Yeah,
I
they
say
weren't
bad.
very
It was
good.
like Val Kilmer was. I mean, no offense to Val
Michael
Kilmer.
Keaton.
Michael Keaton was okay, but you go back and watch that and the whole production value. Obviously, that was the 80s, right? But,
Yeah, the Joker
was a better superhero.
Well, I mean, like
almost.
it's just so strange. As soon as Christopher Nolan got a hold of those characters, we could at least go, okay, now. But then
But
we're back
who
to
is
just
Sam,
doing all
though?
this stuff.
But-
Sam, who are you?
So I would have to give it more thought, I guess, if I really wanted
need
to
a
pick
couple of days for that?
Probably.
Mr. Incredible.
Because I'd have to look into the more recent, you
don't know who they are.
The Marvel. I know them, but I guess
mean, Iron Man's kinda
everyone
cool.
can fly now, though, right? But when I was a kid, only Superman could fly. And flying would have been X-ray vision, laser vision, all the indestructible. You know, Superman was the
Was
guy.
he an X-ray
so-
vision guy, or was he just laser?
Yeah, no,
No,
he
he
had
had
X-ray
X-ray
vision.
vision.
That's why Lois had
His problem was kryptonite.
Yeah,
it was his only problem.
Lois had to hide because
Well, his
he
problem
could
was Lois Lane, but
see
that was
what she was
a
wearing.
different story.
Anyway,
Do you want to know what mine is?
No. No, what
I knew
is?
you
I'm
didn't.
trying to think. No, I'm trying to think who yours would be, though.
Oh, who? Sam's?
No, I'm trying to think of yours. I'm trying to think of yours.
You guys will never guess.
Okay.
Never.
Green
you'll
Lantern.
Green Lantern.
No. Good guess, though, but no.
Big
I don't know what the
Philadelphia
Green
Eagles.
Lantern is.
Robin.
Oh, no, I got it.
You'll never get
What's
it.
his name? The doctor. The doctor
Strange?
who was, yeah, Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
The Incredible Hulk? Is that who you're thinking of?
No. The one who like
Strange, the guy who can like warp
Yeah.
time, sort of.
Cumberbatch. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who that is.
No. Okay.
So it was always Superman.
Oh, it was
like,
Superman.
yeah, and I love Superman.
You had the hair too.
The movie,
You still have
right.
it.
Yes, you do.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
You'd wanna be Wonder Woman.
When I saw the new Wonder Woman, whoa. That
No,
was
the new Wonder Woman made me cry. I was
right,
in the theater
new
by
Wonder-
myself. I
yes,
cried.
The new Wonder Woman. The new Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
not
she's good.
the Linda Carter.
Can I
No,
just
I
be
know.
TV
Yeah,
Wonder Woman?
yeah.
No,
Now hold on.
because
Can I
she
be,
was legit.
Gal Gadot. Yeah,
Gal Gadot, yeah.
she's awesome. I'd be Chris Pine in that situation and just have a shot with
Right.
Wonder
Yeah, no
Woman.
kidding.
Kidding.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go, Scott.
All right.
yeah,
Great
Because
question.
you got a magic lasso. That's why.
it's the truth lasso.
Yeah,
It's
isn't
that
it?
thing is.
the truth lasso. That makes it sound like it was Western Family brand. The lasso of truth. Well, we have a
Truth
pretty
lasso.
close to the truth lasso. All right, Scott and Sam. Here we go. So last hour we talked a little bit about Zach Wilson and the comparisons that he got today.
Mm-hmm.
Was the Dan Marino comparison stuff from Tony Romo just him being nice to local media who were asking him questions at the U.S. Open or at the Utah Open?
I mean, that's a good question. I was there when he said it. And here's the thing. That's the first name that came out of his mouth, though. Now, he did pause and think for a little bit, but that is the first name that came out of his mouth, Dan Marino, okay? And for me, when I think of Dan Marino, I think of someone who's got all the talent and puts up the big numbers, but ultimately, and it's not, football's the ultimate team sport. It's not just a single guy, but he never won a title, right? And so instantly I'm thinking, okay, here come the BYU fans. They're going to be like, oh, not Dan because he didn't win, whatever. I don't know. He put out multiple multiple names, though. At the end of his comments, he said he has a ceiling similar to that of Patrick Mahomes. And so I don't know. I mean, I don't know who to compare him to.
That's a lot of names to throw out there.
I know. He's just covering all. There was Montana, and there was
right.
And then Elway came along later.
Elway, yeah, exactly.
When he fumbles, he reminds me a lot of like a Taysom Hill, Dave Craig type.
He might have been covering his bases, for sure. But and the one thing that people have brought up on my social media account when I posted the video of him speaking about it is that they kept referring to, he's only watched one preseason game and a couple of plays, and he can say this. And my thought is, and I would say maybe you have the same ability.
X-ray vision.
On
Scott, quarterbacks.
as someone who played in the NFL, you can see, someone with your expertise, someone with Tony Romo's experience and expertise can watch a small sample and tell if that guy's got the talent, right? Or am I wrong?
Well, let's see. I mean, I was teammates with Dan Marino for 4 years,
right.
so
that's kind of offensive to say Dan Marino right off the bat.
No, it's Zach Wilson's not Dan Marino. Yeah, I can just tell you that right now. And maybe I think what he's saying is not so much in style, but potential, right. and that this guy has talent. There's something that's here that's not just your run-of-the-mill second pick in the draft kind of thing, but this guy actually might stick and he might have a decent career. And I think he's also saying it because there's some uniqueness to his game. It's not vanilla cookie cutter.
Yeah.
If everything fits in the perfect mold or box, he's fine. And he's a guy that's good at ad-libbing, and that tends to be a thing that helps guys like Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. So I think it's more a style thing than it's actually like, oh, he looks like Patrick Mahomes or Dan Marino because I'll just tell you, I've never seen anyone throw the ball like Dan Marino.
Yeah.
But I've also never seen anyone throw the ball like Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
I mean, they are uniquely special. And I wouldn't put
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson in that category.
No one said too.
I like Zach.
When Patrick Mahomes came out and was, everybody could tell he had tremendous arm talent and all that stuff. And then when he started making plays, then when he started to be, MVP caliber, no one said, he reminds me of Dan Marino.
Right.
No one thought that.
No,
because what you think now is Patrick Mahomes is like Patrick Mahomes. Maybe an Aaron Rodgers comparison could be in there because he does the those flip throws and all the weird
skills.
And all the things he did against the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Don't want to offend you there. I mean,
I'll tell you one other thing about Romo, though, today that kind of makes you wonder if he was just saying things to appease media as well. When he was also asked about Taysom Hill and who he was asked. He was asked specifically who he thought would win the Saints job, and he goes, and
one
he
of
paused
those,
for a
and
while
he goes,
there.
one of those guys will probably do it.
In my head, I'm sitting there thinking, in his head, he's probably going, okay, Breeze retired. Who did they bring in again? I could say, but I don't think Coach Payton would like me to say.
I don't think it's appropriate. One of those guys is going to be.
What he said?
That's what he said. He's like, I have a good idea. But
Tony
I don't think Coach Payton would like if I said. Is what he said. And then someone followed up. Well, Taysom is from around here, and he had a few nice things to say about Taysom and his skills as well.
Yeah,
but
that's when he realized who he was talking about. All right. Sam, what's going on tonight on KSL5 Television?
Well, we're going to hear from Tony Romo some more. We've also got preseason football. We love preseason NFL because that means we're going to see some of our locals competing for spots on NFL rosters as well. So we'll have those highlights coming up as well. All
right, taking the break here. Coming back. Oh, we've got lots still to go here. We've got our NFL roundup. We got our 2-minute drill. Stay with us on KSL's Unrivaled.
KSL's Unrivaled. The teams you live for. The sports you love. Scott Mitchell and Alex Keary on KSL News Radio.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. It's KSL's Unrivaled. Thanks for being with us. Alex Keary, Scott Mitchell, back in the house. Here we got a couple segments left here, Scott. My heavens. It's just blowing by here tonight. Yeah, everything's going quickly. So, before we get into the NFL roundup here, Scott, I was just, all these, we listened to, earlier last hour about Zach Wilson being compared to Dan Marino. That's hard to do because no one knew that Dan Marino was Dan Marino when Dan Marino was Dan Marino. Huh? Does that make any sense? I mean, like, when you're that young, you don't know what you don't know. and we don't know how good you are because we don't know anything about you. So when Tony Romo says, yeah, I mean, all I've seen is a preseason game and a couple other, plays here and there that he's done, but man, special gifts, man, special gifts. And before you poo-poo it, you have always said that you're able to watch somebody and you can kind of know. So why is it that Tony Romo sees it and you don't see it?
Tony, am I on?
Yeah, you are now, yeah.
Okay. Tony Romo sees plays before they happen. And that's just a gift certain people are given, and I just don't have that gift.
He's a QB whisperer.
I will tell you this. Watch Zach Wilson when he was in high school as a junior and as a senior. And I felt at the time, I go, this kid, why is this kid not being recruited? I was shocked by this. I did not understand it, did not get it. And the answers I got were like, what? Like, yeah.
He's not that good kind of a thing?
I've always thought he was a really good player. When he was at BYU, same thing. There are things about his game that he's not Dan Marino.
He hadn't done anything yet.
No, but
Could he be? Why not?
Okay, let me tell you. Like watching Dan Marino, let's just take Zach's pro day. There would not have been a ball in the wrong vicinity on the ground. Everything would have been like beautiful.
That's how good Marino was.
And it was like that every single day at practice. It was unbelievable. My rookie year, when I got there, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do that.
So you're uniquely qualified to poo-poo the comparison to Dan Marino. But when he says, yeah, I mean, he's going to be special. He could even be as good as Patrick Mahomes, right? He threw that one out there, too.
No.
You don't think that's ceiling?
I don't think if I thought Zach Wilson was like Patrick Mahomes, I'd have said it 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Or whenever. But Patrick Mahomes does things I've never seen anybody do.
What about his
including Dan Marino?
Scott, what about his off-platform throws? Zach Wilson throws off-platform.
Just so you know, off-platform is a myth. I'm really tired of off-platform. Most quarterbacks move in the pocket like probably 70% of the time. You're throwing in an unusual angle or situation a lot of the time.
I think that Aaron Rodgers does very similar throws too, where he just kind of whips it, has kind of weird arm angles, blah blah blah. And that doesn't. But those aren't the things that get the job done for. I mean, those aren't the things that pay the bills for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has a cannon of an arm, and he's accurate. Like, right. I mean, crazy accurate.
Right.
And he's all the time. Yes, and he's so dang cool in the pocket. What did Dan Marino have? Dan Marino never even felt pressure. He just threw that football. I mean, that's the thing that's wild to me is that's the stuff where Zach Wilson is going to get in his own way. All these quarterbacks, they're going to get in their own way.
Can I tell you something that Dan Marino had?
What did he have? Isotoner gloves.
Well,
I know, right?
Those were important.
Yeah.
He had an amazing cast around him. He had talent. Mark Duper, Mark Clayton, Nat Moore, Jimmy Cephalo early on in his career. He had 3 really, really good tight ends. They had great running backs. Offensively, they were loaded.
Isn't that wild, too, to think that they only went to that one Super Bowl? That's what's wild.
Yeah.
Unrivaled.
Way wild.
The Unrivaled NFL Roundup. Premium Grade A Pro Football stories from your 2 hosts, a former NFL quarterback and the other guy. It's the Unrivaled NFL Roundup.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Oh, wait, that's in the next segment. Anytime I see a Rock story, I just want to bring it up. That's for next segment, though, you guys. You're going to have to wait for it. Scott, the NFL stories from the day, of course. I know it's a shocker, but Antonio Brown was involved in a training camp fight. Listen, if you're not getting in a training camp fight, wide receivers and DBs like going at each other and like doing the whole hand fighting stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, that will absolutely happen all the time. Now, Antonio Brown needs to mind his P's and Q's, right? Because Bruce Arians says
what does that actually mean? Mind your P's and Q's?
Yeah, so your
mind them.
Persimmons and your kumquats.
Oh.
I thought it was a fruit reference.
Oh,
or
really?
a fruit and vegetable reference.
Oh, probably know. Like
actually
you gotta.
No, but here's what I was gonna say. This is a guy who's gotten 3 or 4 extra chances. He's going to have another chance this year. But Bruce Arians says that the Brown got involved in this fight that happened at training camp today, and he's going to have to be punished for that fight. Now, does that mean a fine, or is he's not talking about sitting out? It'll probably make him play more in the preseason. That'll actually be the punishment he'll get. But what kind of a punishment does a guy have to get for being involved in a fight that the NFL's not going to levy a fine against you or anything? So where does a punishment like that happen for Antonio Brown?
Well, I don't think he's going to be punished.
Well, Bruce Arians says he's going to.
Whatever.
He says he's going to. That'll probably be that'll be between me and Antonio.
Okay. There's a hierarchy, right? And Antonio Brown potentially could be like the best wide receiver in the NFL, bar none. Amazing talent, but he's kind of in between his ears. There's something funny going on there, and he kind of has lost that a little bit. That ability to have a special treatment, so to speak. So yeah, fine. There's some kind of punishment. There's some kind of whatever, but they're not going to do anything to Antonio Brown that's anything significant. They're just not. They may on the face of it do whatever and make it look whatever, but at the end of the day, he's a guy that has an amazing talent, and they're going to try to utilize it. They're going to try to find a way to get it out, get it out of him, and deal with all of the other issues that they have to deal with Antonio Brown. He's not the only player like that. There's a lot of players that are kind of
Bruce Arians
goofy.
Afterwards said, I saw it, and I didn't see much to the fight. So he's not going to punish Antonio Brown after all. So there you go. Scott, the Washington football...
If he was a young guy, Alex, he'd probably get cut just to set an example. But he was probably going to get cut anyways. It doesn't matter. Fighting is it's
in training camp. It's supposed to happen too, especially with the inter squad stuff.
All fighting is communicating. That's how football players communicate. That's how they talk to each other. They just fight a little bit.
There's some grunting going on.
Yeah.
The Washington football team, Scott, has 3 names that they've narrowed down their the mascot to. Now, football team, I don't know if it's going to be one of them.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. That's what the 3 names are.
The Washington football team has narrowed down their new team name to 3 different options, but they say they're not going to reveal what they are. Come on.
When are they going to reveal?
I don't know. They just said that they were.
And how do they do it? They do is it like they blow up a balloon and out pops a blue color or a pink color?
They said the Washington football team has reportedly narrowed their list of potential names down to 3 options. According to their Making the Brand series, their finalists come from these 8. So it's somewhere in these 8. You ready?
Yeah.
The Armada. Boo. That's a Spanish situation. Okay, we don't need that. The Presidents. Is it the Washington Football Presidents?
See, I would prefer Dead Presidents.
Now that would actually be pretty cool.
I like that one.
Now you put on that Richard Nixon mask. It makes it look like you're robbing the joint.
Yeah.
The Brigade.
Yeah.
The Red Hogs.
The Red Hogs.
Red Hogs makes it sound like you see, but that's
why don't they just call them the Hogs?
The Red Hogs,
the Washington Hogs.
It makes it sound like you're like I don't know. Just get one of those kielbasa's. Give me one of those Red Hogs over here. The Commanders, the Red Wolves, the Defenders, and the Washington football team. So
Commanders isn't bad.
Commanders is not bad. Red Wolves and Red Hogs need to be done. I thought Red Hogs was good. Hogs would be good.
The Hogs. Washington Hogs.
There you go. So they're trying to figure out. Okay, this is a family show, Scott. All right,
that's my kid pig noise.
We're gonna take the break here.
What does the piggy say?
See, I have kids. I'm still doing that with. So that's how young my kids are.
What is your piggy voice?
Yeah, I skipped that one. Yeah, there you go.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, welcome back. It is KSL's Unrivaled. Scott Mitchell, Alex Carey. It's that 2-minute drill time, which is a fun time of the night. But there's a lot going on, and we don't have a lot of time, so we like to hurry through things. You mentioned mind your P's and Q's.
Did you look it up?
I looked it up.
What is it?
There's a lot of different, origin theories.
It's one of those things that we know what it means now, but we
it's
don't know what it means.
Mind your manners, mind your language, all this stuff. But apparently, it goes back to the 17th century, and it was the bartender who reminded the patrons to mind your pints and your quarts.
Ah.
So what you were drinking, you got to make sure you drink more or less, or just, watch what's going on.
Maybe it's Yeah. You can't get it mixed up. You can't think to yourself, hey, I'm just drinking a pint here, but you're actually drinking a quart? Come on.
Did you know that that's how golf started? So the theory is...
Bunch of drinking buddies?
Well, in a fifth of whiskey, there are 18 shots.
Oh.
So 18 holes, and if you think shots and, whatever.
That's really... Yeah. Sounds like... This is a show that will not actually know where that if that's true or not. In my mind, is that I mean, you went to Scotland and you played golf in Scotland.
But
do they actually float that theory?
Yeah, that's where the theory. That's where I got the theory.
I know. I'm just saying, like,
and that was
I feel like they'd
origin of golf. By the way,
I feel like they would want to have gotten away from that. Oh, it's not just a bunch of us drunkards out here. No, that was more of an Irish situation. Scotty, when you came down here, I thought, is that Mormon boy who's playing football over there?
Yeah,
I'm going to tell him a story about how we drink our whiskey. Is that face you got on it? I don't know why I'm doing it. Scott, here's what we have going on here. There it is. Yeah, there we go. Now we're back on track.
Oh, yeah.
What's this? You said we had the 2-minute drill, and without further ado, let's play the music. Can you tell the folks what a 2-minute drill is since you've actually done one?
Late in a football game, you got to matriculate down the field very quickly and score a touchdown, kick a field goal. Don't have a lot of time, so you got to hurry. Our show's the same way. We have to matriculate through the end of our show. We've got a lot to talk about. Not a lot of time, so we talk a little bit about a lot of things. Finish the show happy, go home with a trophy because we participate, and 2 COVID shots and a peanut butter bar.
Peanut butter bar is the new dessert.
One with the chocolate on it.
Yeah, that's a total, like, that's a Utah treat, right? I mean, not to say only, that's like a,
It's in one of my top 2 favorite things of all time.
Yeah.
Cheesecake and peanut butter bars.
Hey, Nancy, are you going to bring those peanut butter bars you make over to Craig's Farewell? That is being said. That was said this week.
Yes,
to some people.
There are our favorite ones. And,
I don't know why we
really
give a
love
Midwest accent.
If you would come over,
you bring your peanut butter bars over there.
Love the peanut butter bars.
Because the Midwest, they like a hot casserole too.
Right.
Yeah. We're getting at them, but that's fine. 2-minute drill here, Scott. So let's go fast, as you said. I brought up The Rock because The Rock actually. He responded on social media to a Utah tweet today. The players were going out on the field and they were responding to who's your celebrity lookalike. And of course, these players go out there. You got to say the guy some handsome person out of Hollywood or another professional athlete, whatever. Yeah. Most of the guys are running out on the field. My favorite was Corbin Kaufusi straight up. After a bunch of people said, there was a bunch of guys who said The Rock, right?
Right.
A bunch of guys said The Rock. Devin Kaufusi actually looks probably the most like The Rock.
Right.
Walks up to the camera and goes, Bradley Cooper. You know why? Because that's a smart move. Just be like, I'm just going to name a dashingly handsome man. Yeah. Not that you'd go wrong with The Rock.
Yes.
But there you go. But a bunch of guys said The Rock. A bunch of guys said, a bunch of the offensive linemen said Maui. They skipped straight past The Rock, went right to his character on Moana and just said Maui. And so The Rock responded, and he was a massively popular, and he said, appreciate the love, have a great season, boys, and kick some blankety blank.
Yes.
So then he cussed at him.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then he hashtagged it, hardest workers in the room, hashtag Utes. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, man.
Yeah.
That's a guy who I've met in this building, by the way.
So, who do you think I look like?
Yeah, Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but you and I have to be like, no, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah.
Of course.
I don't really look like Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
But
I've actually interviewed him before.
I have too.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing.
Ask him about wrestling, if it was actually real.
He's like...
He raised an eyebrow.
Yeah, and he goes, what do you think?
Big eyebrow thing.
You got the people's eyebrow. Got people's elbow. Yeah, I'm a big fan of The Rock. And he's just... And he and I look a lot like The Rock because he and I both don't have hair.
Totally. I mean, 4 or 5 times a night on our show, I just look over and I go,
double take.
Man, you look I feel like I'm on the show with The Rock.
I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
I've seen you look over and go,
whoa.
Hold on, man. I didn't know who you were for a second. So there you go. Getting a shout out from The Rock. You know what The Rock does really well? Social media. James Harden says that his Nets can beat anybody in the NBA, Scott. Seems like a weird time to say it. August 19th, after you definitely lost to a bunch of people in the playoffs not that long ago, and didn't make it to the even the NBA Finals. and a couple of months before you can even prove it. So it seems like a strange time to bring this up.
Well, when you have Kevin Durant, your odds are pretty high. And you have Kyrie Irving, your odds are pretty high. And then you throw in Blake Griffin as just kind of a support player. And then, of course, James Harden. That's not a far stretch. I mean, he's not saying something you're like, oh, wow, you have just created the most revolutionary statement I've ever heard in my entire life. No. Actually, I shouldn't say anything because they should have won.
So,
big disappointment.
Speaking of big disappointment.
I'm not watching the Nets anymore.
Oh, sure you're not. So I wanted to bring this up. Dan Campbell, head coach of your Detroit Lions, Scott, feels extremely bad because they cut their long snapper.
He doesn't feel bad.
On his 40th birthday. Now, here's the only... He said, I'm a blankety blank for cutting him on his birthday. Don Molbach has been the long snapper for the Lions for the last 13 seasons.
Yeah.
And he's been on a series of one-year deals since about 2012. But such is the life of a long snapper.
Sure.
He's also one of those guys you can get to 40 years old at that position and play and not bat an eye. But now here's the thing. He was cut on his birthday. Earlier in the day, the Lions showed the locker room celebration of his 40th birthday in the locker room. And then the beat writers all went, because here's the thing. They made the cuts. They didn't have to cut him today because they made the cuts to 84. And they only needed to get down to 85. So they could have waited.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if they're going to bring him back, but they make all these moves all the time where they made a cut so they could bring an outside linebacker onto the roster. Yeah. So I don't think he's seen his last day as a Lion necessarily, but
here's the thing. I'd be happy to get cut on my 40th birthday. Go out and do something and celebrate and enjoy myself.
In camp.
Yeah, I don't want to be in training camp on my birthday.
The guy's had 14 seasons in the league.
You know, it was one of the oddest
pretty
days,
excited.
The oddest days for me, though, in training camp.
Sorry, 18 years in the league, the guy's
been 40. Yeah, he's been around. He needs to get cut. It's okay. I would actually appreciate that. Look, we're going to let you go.
Thanks,
go
man.
Celebrate your birthday. Celebrate it. An amazing career. My oldest daughter was born during training camp.
And you missed it?
I was in a night meeting, got a phone call, got home, picked up the wife, took her to the hospital.
Boom.
Daughter was born 15 minutes after we got to the hospital.
that was a.
We were
talk
in
about
a 2-minute drill.
Talk about a 2-minute drill.
We were in a 2-minute drill going down the freeway.
My goodness. All right.
And you know what? I sped the whole way, Alex. And I was like, somebody try to pull me over.
Because you want it to be like out of the movies. Officer, we got a woman in labor over here. All right, follow me.
I know.
Never happens.
All
right, Scott, did you have fun tonight?
Yes, I did.
All right. We'll take the break here. We'll come back again tomorrow.
Did you have fun?
Oh, I always have fun.
Okay, just check.
Come on. We're both here. We're live.
Just want to know.
It was my 40th birthday this year. Don't cut me, Scott. Don't cut me. All right? We'll be right back tomorrow for another edition of KSL's Unrivaled. So if you missed any part of the show, we can be right back. You can download the podcast, listen to anything right now, wherever podcasts are found. For Scott, I'm Alex. We'll see you next time, everybody.